We are live, I believe. Hey, y'all. It,
Hey.
yes, it's me and Cache. We are here. Let's give it a couple, maybe like 2 or 3 minutes to let it catch up and let the people know. So I don't see it live on YouTube quite yet. There we go.
I just got the notification on my iPad.
Okay, okay. We're cooking with grease now. Let me just try something real quick. Hold on. All right. I like it. It's giving production. Okay.
It's given, that's how you should start everyone off. It's given professional. I like it.
Okay. So I'm so happy that you asked me to join you for this collab for this third quarter for middle grade and this series in particular. I just it warms my heart and I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I'm so glad we're here. Yes, Vina, and I have to continue to thank you for introducing me to this series because I have just like when I read it, I was like, spread everybody read it. You got to. So thank you for that. So how are you doing today? How was your reading experience?
It's on script. And so Sunday we did our like pop-up reading sprints. And so I started it on Sunday. And I got to where I had like an hour left in the book. And so today I was like, okay, I'll read the rest of it right before the live. Well, not right before the live, but earlier the same day of the live. So I can like it'll be fresh in my mind. And as soon as I finished and script was like the next book, I was like, I wanna start it. I wanna go ahead and start it. Because like legitimately outside of like life happening, I would have finished it the very next day. Like I would have finished it on Monday. But life happened and it like got away from me because it was so cute. Like it just started off like so adorable. And it's like you get this like glimpse of like just it's just I like it. I love it all. And here's the thing: outside of reading stuff for critique and reading an arc, these are the only books I've finished since like May. Like I
That's the
have,
tea. That's the tea.
yeah, I just have not been able to like get into. And it's not that I wasn't even liking the things that I was reading. It wasn't making me feel good. Is not that it wasn't a bad read, not I wasn't enjoying the story, but I think these make me feel good. Like they're just not just good stories, but I'm smiling the whole time I'm listening to it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so cute. And I just keep reading them. So I'm really hoping that he's working on something else or he has something else or something because I really love this. I really, really love this.
I know that he has like maybe a memoir
That's what
out
I
and I
thought
haven't
too. That's what
but
I
I
thought.
haven't seen anything else outside of those like five works. And I
That's what
haven't
I
read the memoir because I'm kind of scared. But I wanted to be the nice thing in my mind. So I don't want to risk it. But I might read it. I probably will because I really do enjoy this this series and I wonder what inspired him to write it and kind of his maybe author journey.
when you
Um,
listen to it, do you hear the acknowledgments at the end?
uh, I don't think so. It gives me like the discussion questions, but it doesn't
Because
because I
that's
just
what's made
list.
me want to read his memoir. Is his
Okay,
acknowledgments.
I'll go back
Um,
and look because I have a couple days left on my borrow. I'll go
Yeah,
back.
because like he first he thanks God first, and then he thanks his parents, and then he thanks like everyone that's like worked on the like book and the
Hmm.
journey. So it's made
Yeah,
me be curious to like because I feel like he was a football player too.
yeah. I think that's what the cover of the memoir kind of
Okay,
leads you to
okay.
believe.
I was like, okay. I didn't
Yeah,
imagine. Okay.
yeah, no. I think it maybe even says former NFL player something something something. Okay, my internet is tripping. So if it keeps happening, I may turn my camera off because it kind of pulls a little less if I do that. I notice, but
Okay.
just
Yeah,
let me
you're literally
know if it.
right now.
Okay, I just saw it freeze for like maybe a couple seconds, and I don't like
But
that.
it seems like from the way the acknowledgments were, at least in this last one, it seems like I would be intrigued to know if like the parents in the book are like inspired by his parents, kind of thing, because they're so cute
Yeah,
and
they're
they're
just
like,
so adorable.
and I just love because all the things that we complain about them like leaving out in stories about families, the families do here. They
Yeah,
acknowledge being busy. They acknowledge needing to change schedules or adjust schedules. They're
yeah,
like, hey, we can't give you the time and the attention we need, but we're gonna send you somewhere else where you can get more time and attention, type of deal. Where you're not alone. And I just think that that's just beautiful, and it's what we be talking about, because it's not like they don't still go on adventures. It's
right.
not
And
like,
it's not even that they're there. Sometimes it's a note, sometimes it's a voicemail, sometimes it's a text message, and that's all we're asking for. Like, be the adult in the situation, be the parent, is what we're saying. So yeah, I love it. I love the familial representation. I love the cousins, you know, kind of in the country that they go visit for the summer type of situation. I love that. I love that. It's just in the community in the town where they go. It's beautiful. I love everything about it. I have no complaints again. I haven't had a complaint so far. So this is gonna be a gush fest. Y'all have been warned. 7
right,
minutes in.
no complaints. I think his little cute little cliffhangers are adorable.
Oh.
Like, they're so cute. They're so, and they're just they're so cute, and they're perfect because it's going right into another adventure like immediately. And I'm just like, that's, if I was a kid, and I'm not, I'm an adult who wants to go right to the next book, but as a kid, I'm like, there's glitter. The next one, what's gonna happen? And I just love that, and it makes me feel good, y'all. Like, I can't
Like,
stress that enough.
it's
Like,
so funny too because whenever he gets in the elevator, there's only one button. This is for y'all who are not reading it with us. There's only one button when he gets in the elevator, and the voice is like, you know, up or down, left or right, you know, before or after. He never picks those choices that the voice gives him. He picks something else. He's like, whatever, like over, under, up high at the beginning. He just does stuff like that, and it's just so wholesome. It's just, I don't know. This time we didn't get to see that much of his dog, Loopy, but it's still so cute. I just love how we get everybody every. Well, I say every, but we're on book two, so we get everybody in each little installment. We're not left guessing what's going on with
right.
anybody.
And what I like, I think is cute, is that in each book so far, he's had like a little bit of a crush on a girl. And it's so cute because I feel like as kids, like low key, like that's how it was though. Like the person that made you smile or like was nice enough, like, ooh, is there? I mean, maybe I don't. No, I don't like him. No, no, and it's just so cute because everybody else is like, well, we see it, whatever. But I love that. I love the conversation that they have about Doug and Doug's grandma and like what could happen. I love that that's there. I love that there's the conversation about like Miss Gertrude and the brothers. And there's just so much in both books. There's been so much conversation of like looking beyond that first impression of that person. And I think that that's such a good thing to be reiterating to children, is that like your first
Yeah,
impressions of people, or even the very first, not just the impressions, but they could be right. They're not necessarily wrong, but the cause of them, the reason for them, the ways to get around them are different, right? Because it wasn't that the boys in the first book weren't bullies, they were bullies, but you had to find another way to see how to handle this solution, how to get past that, right? Like the brothers in this situation, like they're bullies, they're enemies in the story, is the story that we're getting, but something is telling Arcade to look past that. And I just think that's such an awesome message.
No, I couldn't agree more. That it's just so wholesome. Um, that message in particular, like you said, the bullies from the first book, the two, I forgot their names. I'm so bad with names.
Like Kevin and
Um, don't
Kevin
give
and
me the line, girl.
because I feel
Don't
like
give me
I also feel like it's interesting that we got sets of twins in
two
both books.
books. Yeah,
I'm curious, like how that
yeah.
continues.
Yeah, that I like that too though. It's like how many twins you got around you, bro? Like but twins are have you I mean I grew up with a set of twins in my neighborhood and it's interesting how people interact with twins. So I think it's just fun to see cuz they at the end of the day they usually I'm saying this I'm sorry, but they usually have very distinct personalities,
Yeah,
even if they like to dress
even
alike
if
or
they're
whatever.
identical and they dress alike and
Uh-huh.
everything,
Even
you
if they're
still
identical,
know.
you can usually, especially if you get close with them, you can usually start, you know, really knowing on sight who's who, even if they're wearing the same thing. And I just think it's so fun that they get to interact with just a diverse set of people. Like you got the bullies on top of them being twins. You got cousins that we don't get to usually see in stories. I say usually. I haven't read too many with the extended family involved. Um, and then
And
you get
definitely not on
the
the level of where they're best friends. Because Arcade said,
yeah
like, there's a point in the book where he was like, when Derek and Doug are like talking and they're laughing, and he was like, it feels good for my friends to get along. And it's like,
yeah
he's not just my cousin. This is my ace boon. Like, this is
yeah
my
like
friend.
we rock
We
yeah
rock, right? Like, and
yeah
it's true because what happens? The end of the first book, he's in trouble. The beginning of the second book, y'all trying to get y'all way from New York to Virginia. Like,
they
it's a
scheming
he's
to
in
get
trouble. I need
there
to get there. And it's like,
yeah
I'm all for middle grade writer dies. I'm all
yeah
for it. Doug is like,
right
y'all going, I'm going.
can
I'm
I
just saying,
go
everybody is with it in this book, and I
yeah
love
yeah, it's so sweet. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's time to. Oh, there's glitter. Let's roll. What we doing now, arcade?" I like that so much. So I grew up with twins in my neighborhood too. Yeah, it's fun. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a different experience, and I like that they get to shine individually in this series for sure. I love the extended family aspect too. My cousins, yeah, like I don't have siblings, and so my first friends were my cousins, and I'm not really close with most of them now because I've moved away. But at the end of the day, I will always cherish that relationship. And when I go
it. Oh yeah,
home and I see them, it's like, "What's up, cuz? What we doing tonight?" You know?
definitely. Childhood cousins are best friends for sure for me.
Yeah,
For
for
sure.
sure. We sleeping over my house, your house, wherever.
I mean, high
other
key,
cousins'
that's
house.
low key the only houses I could go over for the most part. Like
High key,
they
low key.
family,
Period.
right?
Yeah. That's it. I grew up with my cousins living in walking distance. They weren't necessarily in walking distance, but they were close. It was you know,
Well, two of mine were raised in the house with me, so
yeah, yeah.
hey, we might.
In
I
the
love.
summertime, we were all at one of my uncles or aunt's house, depending on which side of the family it was. So yeah, like we were inseparable, especially in the summertime. In the school year, we kind of were sprinkled around, but we wrote it down. Yeah, because it was a 50, 11 of us. Like I have a huge family. Okay, I'm gonna just run through my questions I like to use to discuss books. If you know, is that cool with you? Okay. There will probably be spoilers, so if you don't want that, you might head on out.
A snow cone.
We should have known. We should have known.
I've been thirsting
So,
on it for like 5 days too. I'm at the
no, I'm
very.
gonna need you to go and knock that on out.
I will. It's gonna be
Gotta-
gone by the end of the stream.
okay, so what do you think of the pacing? You felt like it was too fast or slow, appropriate? What did you think?
No, I thought it was really good. Especially when like the dad is like at the end and he was like, you know, it feels like you guys have been gone for long, but it's only been 2 weeks, and I like this felt like a good 2 weeks. Like it sounds reasonable that y'all were able to fix this place up in 2 weeks. Like that's reasonable to me. Cause had y'all all done it in one, oh hi Gigi. I was like, I don't know how they get to call me Shay Shay, but hi love. But yeah, when I seen it, I was like, the way that I was like, okay, they don't just magically fix everything up in one night. Like it's multiple nights. They have to go and get help, and it's
No, like the realism of having to have the paint donated and the lumber sourced, you know, I like that. That was, I don't know, something about the realness of it just really touches my heart. I really enjoyed it.
no for real, and I like that. Like, um, it was another one of the. I feel like another thing in both books where you can't do it all by yourself. Even if you feel called to do something, even if you feel like this is for you to do your job, you don't have to go it alone in both books. And I just love that. Like, I love that. Because again, like, I feel like, especially in, to be fair, I haven't read a lot of middle grade. Most of the non adult fiction has been YA. But,
I got recommendations.
right, please do. Because, like, in the YA, it's just low key, high key, it's hopeless. Like that's just it. Like there's not a lot of like positivity. There's not a lot of
Listen,
positive lessons. There's a lot of like being vague about things and talking about things in generalities, but there's not like a lot of books that I can point to and be like, I could see this lesson like through and through, and I could see how like kids could like eat that up. You know, like I could see how young adults could eat that up. Like how I could see reading this book and being like, yo, like Arcade really has some great friends around him. And he cares about his friends. And he acknowledges when he doesn't care or when he hasn't thought about them in a certain way. Because in both books, there's comments about how he didn't consider things about Doug, right? They're also very brand new friends, so it's not like they've been like friends a long time and they know each other well, but it's still like even that being able to be cognizant of, hey, I need to care about this person and actually know what's going on with them. And I don't know, I just feel like we don't get that in YA.
no, I definitely agree. And there's a part that sticks out in my mind where my mom is texting me, where Arcade, they're in the construction phase, and he just sort of like, oh, it's nice to just have a conversation with my sister. He's like, it's just nice to just talk to my sister, and I was like, oh, like
I
what
need
little
to feel
brother
that
thinks like it's so sweet.
I was
Like
like, this is so
I just
cute.
need to check in with my sister real quick. Hold on, internet. Let me turn my camera off. Uh, But 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 yeah. So I just really enjoy that aspect of it a lot, and I do agree that the pacing is just right for the subject matter, for the length of the book. I like how there's acknowledgement of time. It's like, oh, um, things do take time. It's not like you can go get not thousands, hundreds of or fill tens of gallons of paint and just have that be at your doorstep conveniently. So a lot of times my complaints with fantasy is that, yeah, sure, it's fantasy, so it's going to be unrealistic, but there are just bare minimum logistics that need to be taken into consideration, and I like that this series does that.
I like it too because like there's still magic in the book. There's still things that are happening that like defy the laws of our world, but they still
Yeah,
acknowledge that our world exists. Like, come on now.
right, right.
It can be done is what the book showed me.
That's what it's showing, right? That's what it's giving. It's like it's showing you that it can be done and it can be done well. So y'all
Very
need to
well.
step up
Right.
and still be fun and entertaining and interesting and all those things.
Yeah, this I just here's and me and Britt have talked about this like in writerly conversations and in lives, but like it's giving that y'all just don't know how to write families. So because you don't want to take the time to become a better writer and craft good families, you kill off members so you don't have to deal with them. You know what I mean? Because like
Oh
why?
yeah, for
Like
sure. It's
why?
lazy. It's given lazy.
It's lazy. It's super lazy. It's giving you don't respect the craft or the readers. Because like I no lie, I can't think of too many books like where a parent isn't dead or missing or like they don't see the parent or any, like of the books that we've read of YA.
No, that was really my main complaint with another book. I don't really want to talk about which one specifically, but one I read recently, if you follow me on Goodreads, you'll know what I'm talking about. I I feel in my heart of hearts that publishing, especially traditional publishing, um, really does make it so that certain types of books and tropes make it, and they come through in clumps. You know what I'm saying? Like there's classes, if you will, like class of spring 2020 or lines, if you like they cross it. Like
But
it's
no,
spring
like when we
2022.
had
The
all
trope
the
of
like
is,
Hunger Game Divergent class come through, and then
yeah,
we had
yeah,
no, I totally get what you're
yeah.
saying.
Like
I
that's
get
how I feel. They only let certain things come through at a time. So there's like three books in particular, I feel like they suffer from the same thing. This missing parent or dead parent situation is, and it feels lazy. It just feels, and it feels disrespectful to me as a reader. And I have really put my foot down on things that I'm going to purchase now because I'm not just going to be eating these stories y'all want to call and say they're black stories and, you know, yeah, but are y'all trying to traumatize me unnecessarily at this point? And I don't need that in my life.
And the thing that really gets me is as somebody who didn't grow up with my parents in my life, like most people I grew up around did. Like so like putting people in all these stories in the world where it's like you're trying to make that this is the norm, that's not true. Like again,
Yo, mhm.
the you know how I feel about the way that I feel we do literature. We put things out there that are like self affirming. Like we make these things become realities because it's what we're painting for everybody. And it just doesn't to me make sense. And when you said the like it feels disrespectful as a reader, it reminded me there's a line in a Black song and he says he's talking about like writing and he was like it's it's about like why he hasn't put out a new project and he was like to care a little more about your ears, like as an artist to care more about what I'm putting out for you. Like it's not just about me and creating, it's like I can't give you something that's just the bare minimum. That's just lazy because that's disrespectful to you. And so when you said that, that's what it made me think. And it's like, no, as a writer, we are artists, we are creatives, but we are serving an audience. And we have a duty to respect them with what we do. And I feel like traditional publishing, at the very least, encourages disrespectful writers, like at the very least.
Ooh-wee. You said a mouthful, and I think you said it. I can't remember. It might have been on one of the When Black Women Speak episodes. You said something about what you're trying to write through your drama trauma or something like that, and then what story are you trying to tell? Like, who is this story for with all this trauma in it? Like, it's kind
Right.
of selfish to put that on your
The next
reader.
generation. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think traditional publishing for sure is they sort of exploit that idea that black people in particular, we're gonna want to support black stories, and if you put a black person on the cover, it probably will sell pretty well. And so they kind of feed us some things in that mix, and like I said a minute ago, I'm put my foot down on that. I can't do
I'm not
that to me.
doing it, right? But like we even remember, like we had evidence of that in 2020 when they decided to put black people on all the cover classics. So we was like, wait a minute, there aren't even black people in these stories. Why are y'all doing this?
Yeah, are y'all changing the story? No, you know what? Just the other day, I saw the poster for A League of Their Own, that they made with black people,
Oh wow.
and my knee jerk reaction to that, they made it into a TV show, I think, a limited series, maybe like 6 episodes. Don't quote me
Mhm.
on that. But I remember watching the black version of Steel Magnolias, and it didn't translate because black people wouldn't navigate it that way. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, they don't talk to each other in the way that they
That they talking still Magnolias, right?
in Steel Magnolias. So
Because
when you
that's a
try to,
specific time and a specific place too. Like,
yeah, like, not to say that there's not well-to-do black people in southern Louisiana, but the way that they would be interacting with each other would
would be
not
way different.
way different. And I haven't watched I haven't even watched the trailer for it. I just saw a poster.
Hmm.
So, but I'm like, why did they do that? Why did they do that to A League of Their Own? Everything don't need a black remake, but it
Right.
might be wonderful and incredible and eye opening. But I remember that scene in the original movie
I'm not gonna lie to you.
where,
That's how I felt about Cheaper by the Dozen, the newer one.
yeah, why? It's not needed. Y'all have so many things that you need to be adapting instead
Right.
of remaking. Like, the remake is dead at this point. Y'all done killed it, you know? So,
Right.
do you remember that scene? If you've ever seen A League of Their Own, there's a scene where the one of the balls, when they're like either warming up or maybe it's during a game, and it goes to the colored section. Basically, it goes out of bounds, and it's in the one section where black people can stand and sit or
Hmm.
spectate or whatever. And the one black lady throws the ball back to the pitcher or to the catcher, and it's she like it's like, damn, that was a good throw. Like, she it hurt her hand when she caught it, and that's the one scene with black people in the whole movie. So how are they gonna do that in the black remake?
Right.
Who's coming to the games where it's an all black team, y'all? Like, why did this need to be? I don't know, but we'll see.
Right.
I need to watch it. I just wonder why they keep doing this kind of thing, instead of making original material. I don't really
Right.
understand.
Because
I don't
I
really
was thinking,
understand.
when you said that, I was thinking about how we talked about
Oop.
when we were younger, how we had such a larger group of shows, um,
Yeah,
in comparison, and like when I think back to it, I can't think of comparable white shows to Moesha, like to the
comparable.
Parker, to like because we weren't trying to be comparable, we were just being us.
No,
Like
yo,
I don't.
closest thing I can think of. maybe to Moesha is Clarissa explains it all. Maybe.
Right.
Maybe.
Maybe. Right.
Maybe.
But it's
It's
still
a
different
stretch.
because Moesha, like Clarissa Explains It All, was on Nickelodeon, so they couldn't even
Yeah.
explore all the topics they explored on Moesha,
True that. True that.
right? Like we think about All of Us. What do we have comparable to? You know what I mean? Like there were so many things that we
Finish it.
had,
'Cause I
and
need
that
some
they
more
made
Bible.
comparable things after, right? Like we had Living Single, they made Friends, right? Like that stuff happened
And
after,
the
but
creator of
before,
that literally said he stole that idea from Living Single.
right,
So
right. So my mom thought I
it's
read
a
the
weird
same book
idea.
3 times because I kept telling her these Caribbean inspired middle grades I was reading where the MC was going through grief after her mother.
That
Wow.
part. It gets old. I quote what Shay said about being selfish to put that trauma on readers very often to my author friends. Yeah, like
Oh, thank you.
yeah, like that has always stuck with me after you said that because that's very true. Like what is your goal at the end of the day
Right,
when you do that? Like what are you trying
right.
to
Because
accomplish?
I
If
remember
you're
my
trying to
thought was I
just
was like, you say that you're writing for the kids that were like you, but you're not writing that. You're writing your story. You're like self-inserting yourself into there. You're not writing what you wanted to see. What you wanted to see was books with a bunch of black kids doing these things. But that's not what y'all are writing. Why? Like that's the number one reason majority of my characters are black because that's always what I wanted to see. I'm not writing
always.
like I know black kids are seeing day in and day out and going through day in and day out. Like it to me, why do you think a black child living in a predominantly white space, dealing with microaggressions and seeing no black people around them all the time, wants to read about somebody doing the exact same thing? You're muted.
Thank you. That we're not saying we don't think that you should put those things in your book, but it should not be the main driving point. Like, yeah, they exist in those worlds, right? Like, I complain all the time about homophobia in fantasy books, adult fantasy books, all the time. Like, why are you putting that in there? You literally created this world. So what is your purpose and reason for putting homophobia anything like any kind of oppression? What is your purpose for that? Like especially colorism, that's another thing that happens a lot in fantasy books, adult fantasy books. Like why? What is the reason for that? You trying to work through your own issues with it
Right.
by
Because
doing
for me,
that?
again, we talked about in the conversation before about like your what is your fantasy world has to have homophobia. Like why? Like make that make sense. Why? Because if I could create a world, I would be fixing the things I didn't like about this one. Like
And you literally have to create that infrastructure for your reader. So why would you build that in?
right.
I always have that question. Well, and a lot of people say, well, to make it feel real, but why in that way?
Right.
I
Why
just like
what
you
is it
made a
about
choice,
hatred? What is it about hatred that makes y'all think that makes a story real? Because that's the
right?
truth. Because it's
That's what
not
it is,
love, right? Like it's not you're not creating a world where like everybody has universal health care and there are no poor people and there are no homeless people. Like that's not the world that you're creating,
right?
right? Like it has to be a negative thing. And why is that?
Why? Just ask. Now I'm not asking you to. I'm just what's the word when you don't have to answer the question? What's the word?
Rhetorical. Rhetorical.
Rhetorical question.
Right. Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, I need you to ask yourself that for real.
It should definitely be food for thought. It should definitely be
Yeah,
food for thought for you as a writer internally, for sure.
please. Because we're tired and we're stressed already with everyday life. We don't need it in our
Right. Again, we talked about
everything.
this millions of times too. Books as escapism. Like, come on now.
Yeah, like we're tired. All
Right.
that to say, question 2 of 5. What do you think of the plot and the story? Immaculate. incredible. What did Lady Gaga say? Amazing, never been done before. All of those things. Like he
Love
hit,
it. I love it.
he,
Love it.
he
I
hits
love
all
that,
those
like,
points.
I love that New York felt real. I love that Virginia felt real. I love that when they were in Holland it felt real. When they were in India it felt real. I love that, like, it felt like, okay, we're going on these trips. We're going on these places, that things were acknowledged. That it wasn't just easy, right? Like, constantly we had to walk 2 miles here and 2 miles there, and they need a subway. Like, thank you,
Can we get a
acknowledge the
ride?
differences. Like, can we get a ride? Hey, let's go to the bakery. I'm sure she gonna need to go drive somewhere. She'll take us. Ooh, girl, you was reading my mind. Like, I just chef's kiss, can do no wrong. 10 out of 10
Yes,
stars.
10 out of 10. Um, so I listen, those talks, I like, I would always go back and watch them too if I missed them live. So there's always gems drops. So yes, share widely. Arcade's neighborhood feels closer to my experience. I definitely, especially his, yeah, his Virginia neighborhood. I'm assuming you're talking about,
Yeah, no, the Virginia
especially,
neighborhood definitely felt closer for sure.
yeah, yeah. Like I knew my neighbors, mm, you know, side by on both sides, behind me, in front of me. You know what I'm saying? And it was a community. At the end of the day.
Before we were homeschooled, when I was in elementary school and I had to like catch the bus because I went to like school on the white part of town, there was a neighbor who was like 3 houses down, like on the same street. So I lived on like a very public facing street, so like it's like 4 lanes of traffic, so it's not as much of a neighborhood, but everybody on that line, like, we knew. And I would go and sit. They raised horses, and I would sit at their house until my grandma got off work, and that's where I would be for like 2 hours every day after school, like it. But I knew them intimately, like knew their
Yeah.
son and everything else, like, because that's just what it was. Like,
Yeah.
the village to raise a child thing. I feel
That's
like
a whole.
it's a whole thing, and it
It's
was
a
never
whole
not
thing.
something I knew.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it just always
The
was.
lady that my mom took me from, like I was an arm baby. She she says, from that until I was old enough to go home and unlock the door myself after school. She was literally around the corner. I could ride my bike over. I could walk there. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't far at all. And a lot of times my mom would go home and be like, "Can you walk? Can you walk home?" You know what I'm saying? And I would walk home. You know what I'm saying? All the friends on the block would, like, we would just make a thing of it. Or I'd ride my bike. You know what I'm saying? The bus would drop me off at that lady's house instead of at the house, which is literally around the corner. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So it was a whole community, and I really appreciated. There was a golf, putt golf place in my hometown that I
We got a little
remember.
swimming pool around the corner.
Yeah, like, if you're going putt golf, they know that's where you went. You know what I'm saying? It had a
Right.
big dinosaur, it had a windmill, it had the water features. So it just feels so like I just love this series so much.
I did. I did too.
His writing is incredible. The story, the way that they go about um progressing to the next story, like the clues, I thought that was cool. The little plaques on the
I did too.
yeah, I
And
thought
I
that was,
thought like the word choices were very, very good.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
humility and forgiveness. And I just thought they
yeah,
were really good.
yeah.
I loved it.
Resolution, yeah. It was,
Resolution, right. Like,
yeah.
I loved it.
It's so sweet. I went to Catholic school, but would walk to an after school program with the neighborhood kids. Yeah, like literally, the middle school that I went to was, again, maybe a mile from our house, but you had to cross a 6 lane highway with no, like, crosswalk or whatever to get
Mhm.
there. So the kids in the neighborhood, to cross that 6 lane street, we would all just kind of group up together after school, and we would walk, like, okay, if you're by yourself, it's kind of treacherous, but a group of like 10 or 15 kids crossing the
Right.
street, you're okay. You know what I'm saying? So I like that aspect of the story for sure.
No, and
Let's
that
see
was
what.
definitely similar to me, Vina, because like I went to school with predominantly white kids, and like my siblings and cousins, they didn't. They went to school like
Yeah,
in our neighborhood, so I
yeah,
didn't have like the same school type of friends that everybody else had. So like it was
yeah,
good to be in a neighborhood to be able to go to the pool and make friends in my neighborhood and not always be the person that didn't know anybody. So I
yeah.
totally get that, because that is the other part that we've talked about too. And when Black women speaks, like a lot of Black parents want their children to have better education, and sometimes that means having to go to schools in different areas. But there has to be something that those Black parents are doing to reinforce that Blackness, that feeling of family, that feeling of home. Because if you don't, you get the authors that we got today. Amen. Amen. Okay.
I need Brent's iconic fan art of that. And
Cause
I don't know the lyrics to
woo,
the song, but it's something about it. I ain't got no tea, but if I
I ain't got
did,
no tea, but if I did, it would be hot. It would be hot, girl.
I don't know the word. Whatever y'all said. I think we switched names so you know
Uh,
who it is.
GG.
Okay. Yes, I was fortunate my school was in the neighborhood I lived in. There were a lot more white families in the city back then. Mm. Okay, so we kind of covered the writing, so I skipped the third question basically.
Mhm.
Um, do you have a favorite character? Could you pick a favorite?
Okay, I can't, cause like I don't, it's really a tie between Zoe and Arcade, cause I just love them. I love them. Like Zoe is such a big sister. She is, but like she loves the mess out of her little brother, and he is a little brother to the core. Like I'm not gonna pick the option just because I know it's gonna irritate her, and I love it. I love it. It would have to be them, and I don't think there's anybody that I hate. Like honestly, like I thought Doug was gonna annoy me, but Doug makes me laugh quite a bit. Like he makes me laugh quite a bit. I like no, there's nobody I hate. I love everybody. Like even the villains, because like even with the villains, like it's like something else is going on, right? Like with the first two in the first book, I just thought it was funny that they both tried to play each other as brothers to get him to do it. Like, don't tell my brother I'm coming to you. Don't tell my like y'all twins. You don't realize how much y'all think alike. Okay, all right, okay, cool.
Right. No, I don't think I hate anybody. These are just generic questions, y'all. I just put these for probably any discussion of a book. So I don't think there's anybody I'm even lukewarm about. I like Miss Gertrude. I like the parents. There's not any flat characters to have lukewarm feelings about. You know what I'm saying? Even all the side characters, even the ones we only see for a couple sentences per scene that they're in. The what's oh JC's mother.
Mhm.
She's maybe in like two or three scenes and has like 10 lines in the whole book,
Right.
but
But she's such a sweet character.
she's so sweet. And like, how can you not love her? She makes
Right.
that good cinnamon bread. I feel like I can
I
smell
want
the
to know what
bakery.
this is. I won't. I was like, can we get a recipe for the cinnamon bread? Y'all talk
That
about it so much.
part.
I'm curious.
That
I'm curious. I
curious.
want
We
some.
curious like a
I'm curious.
mug.
I want some.
It's just so freaking sweet, y'all. If y'all have not read this book, please do yourself a favor. And if you have, even I would say a reluctant reader in your life, try it. Give it a try. I think they might like it.
I'll also say something
Uh,
about the characters and the writing that I loved. I love that like this is a Black man who is an athlete or was an athlete, a professional athlete in football, which means that he had to go to college because you can't go to the NFL without college. Like it's not like basketball was. And so the first book is about careers and thinking about what you want to do with your life. And in the second book, his cousin is this good athlete, and he acknowledges how great of an athlete he is and that this is something that he wants to do, but he doesn't ever let his cousin forget the ability he has to be an engineer. And I think that that's very important, because I feel like in children, right, like there's certain things that we reinforce, and throughout this book this young man is reinforcing in his cousin, like, yeah, cousin, you can play ball and you strong, but you built that bridge, and I don't think anybody else could have built that bridge, cousin. Like, that was all you. And
Yeah,
it's
it's just
the care that the author is taking, because who is he writing for? The little black boys that he knows needs to read. And I'm just saying, when you
I'm
care
trying not to
about
cry in
your
the
audience,
club. I'm trying not to cry in the club, but
when you
like,
care about your audience, you move
yes,
different.
yes, it just hits different when you can tell. Even there are some traumatic things that happen in the book in the course of the adventures, and there's some tense moments, but he cares about your feelings and how to come out of that, and like to debrief or decompress after that and address it. You know, there's so many books, especially YA, not so much the middle grades that I've liked, but some of the YAs that, I kind of had to overlook some stuff. There's so much that just get overlooked in the book. Like, this fucked up thing happens, and all of it, and it just never gets addressed again at any point in the book. And it's like that that lady, that child, essentially, her father died in the first chapter. We not gonna talk about that at no other point.
Right.
Okay, sure, let's, sure, okay,
I
no
feel
grief.
like these two books spent more time talking about how Zoe and Arcade were adjusting to moving to a brand new state than that girl took in all of that book I had to read last fall. Like, girl, you didn't move to a whole new town in an old abandoned house. And I'm just saying, they didn't this man took way more care. I'm just saying. I was like, hmm, hmm. Like, you ain't nothing for that.
Because I know exactly what you're talking about, and you ain't lying. There's no
Right,
lies told.
right.
Like, literally, like, you have to address that. You have to address that kind of thing and acknowledge it. Is it okay? Yeah, and a lot of people, they just don't.
Right.
And they have bestsellers, and it's like, how?
It's weird, right? Because like you would think like that is, first of all, that's a starting point for the story. How do you not address that? Like, how is it like this little thing that, like, I mean, for relatively speaking, everybody adjusted pretty well to moving across the country. Okay. All right.
To literally knowing nobody, and
Right. Especially when like the difference in this is like Arcade is like elementary, middle school age, like sixth grade, right? Younger kids adjust to moves a lot easier than older kids. Like, this girl is in like
Taylor is a,
dang senior, and we gonna act like it was just this move. Okay. All right.
I'm so hot, like, bruh. I'm listening.
Ah!
This tea, I done drank all my drink messing with you.
Girl, I'm over here like ain't no more snow cone.
Not war flashback.
Girl, was it not? It was like going to war. Girl, I had to fight to get through that book. Just
I
for it
think I
not
have.
to end. Like, and the way she was like, y'all, it's a standalone. You should not be so happy about that. Because you did not resolve anything.
I'm gonna be real immature, but when I found out it was a standalone, I was like, like,
Like,
I was
Like,
so
right,
mad.
that was
Not that
the
I
only
wanted to
way.
read the
To me, that
second
was the
book.
only way you could redeem yourself because you didn't solve anything.
Not that I wanted to redeem myself. I mean, not redeem myself, but like read the second book because I didn't. But at the same time, like, bro, you had that. You're not gonna just none of
It
it.
was, it
This is
was
a weird.
literally like somebody pressed pause in the middle of the movie. It was like that was the, like then started rolling the credits. Like literally, like that's what happened.
I
I was
was
like,
so disgusted.
I mean, I
I'm
guess.
disgusted. Like, really? No.
Yeah, so I don't follow her, right? Why was I
Mm.
scrolling and she was in my Instagram feed, and I was like, "See, this is why I don't like you." I said I don't want to see this girl. Why am I seeing her on the cover of a magazine? I don't care.
Upsetty spaghetti. I'm just upset by that.
Like, why?
Upset. Okay. Okay, so the ending is I just
It's
what?
adorable. It's
It's
adorable.
so
I was telling Deidre that I just y'all know at the heart who am I? A mystery fan. So I love that this book was like we giving mystery. We gonna give it these every time they prayed I smiled. Every single time they prayed I smiled because it
we
was
were
just so
just talking
cute.
about that.
It was
Yes,
just
we
so
were just talking
cute.
about
And
that before
it
we
was
went live. I was like every time, especially at the end of the book when it's like, oh, you know, we pray for the brother, Mr. B, and his brother. Let me pray for, I hope Miss Gertrude's not a villain. What else? They were praying for. Um, I want to say Doug at some point in the story. In
yeah, they're praying because he was scared
yes,
on the
on
bridge.
the Golden
They
Gate
prayed.
Bridge. Yeah,
They prayed for the he prayed for the family in India, and
yeah.
that was
Hmm.
beautiful. That
So
whole thing was
sweet.
beautiful. Especially because I feel like people are always trying to act as if Christians have to be against people from other religions. And I just like that there was like the bowing and the namaste and the just I just like that those things were included because they could have been left out. But I thought that it took very great care to like acknowledge the other communities. And I love that. I loved it.
My bad.
No, you're right.
Yeah, it's just so wholesome, y'all. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I don't have
No, or
a.
even like the moment where the aunt they start talking about like the construction company and each little boy
Mhm.
like puts their like last name first and the aunt is like,
Yeah.
ooh, it sounds like there's some pride going on over there and pride come
You
before
know. You know it
and
coming before the fall now.
the way that I loved it because here's the first thing. What black mama didn't do that? Like, is
Yeah.
someone
Who didn't say
like
that?
try to slid some scripture into some regular conversation you having to do it? I
Yeah.
loved it. I thought it reminded me of like when I was a kid, and so like we'd be watching like Lion King, right?
Yeah.
And Mufasa dies. You see why
Yeah.
his daddy died? Because he was disobedient. You
He
see,
didn't follow.
if you follow instructions, you see how he said now he gotta go high. Like it made me think of that, and it just was like, I love it. I love it. I love it.
He didn't follow instructions.
Did his
Why you
daddy
over?
tell him
But
to sit there?
why?
Man, she was
He
like,
didn't
now,
follow
if you pay,
instructions.
here's grandma. Now, if you pay attention, this is the second time he didn't listen. The first time his daddy had to rescue him.
You see what happened? Damn, mama. Can I
Sometimes
having a
he
moment?
didn't think fat meat was greasy. I bet he know now. Grandma, really?
Not fat meat. No, seriously. That's how her mama's be. So yeah,
Right?
that's it.
Exactly. Loved it.
It's so authentic. I love it. Um, I love the ending. I'm not real big on open endings or like hangers is a better way, I guess, to describe this one. But I like it. It's fitting for the rest of the book, or the rest of the series and the rest of that particular book. I like it because really, it is kind of an open ending when you say like we don't really
Yeah,
know
no,
what
it's
happened
definitely a
to.
cliffhanger. It's definitely a cliffhanger ending. It's definitely
Yeah.
open.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
just it's different in what we're used to with cliffhangers because it's not a feeling of dread.
Right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not that like you're excited to read the next one, so it feels it's a cliffhanger, but it doesn't feel the same.
Right.
And
Right.
I
Right.
love. I don't know how he does it, but he does it,
I
and I
don't
love it.
know. He got the formula right though. He got it because he did us like that in the first book too to get us
Right.
here. So he likes it. I mean, he likes it. He's good at it. I should say.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to find out because I want to know the history of this daggum coin and what happened with
Yeah.
his parents and how it came from the brothers to him and all this and who is this old lady and why did she travel way till he moved to New York to give him the token since he was in
Yeah.
Virginia the whole time. I got so many questions and I we only
Like,
got 2 minutes left.
like how? What did you think of that scene where Miss Gertrude stole the chain?
I, I was trying to figure out what it was. I was like, wait a
Yeah.
minute. Wait a minute.
Not young Gertrude out here.
And then I was like, what if Miss Gertrude was the one? I was like, no, he would have known it was Miss Gertrude if she was the one who gave him the coin in the library to begin with. So that can't be it. So my mind is
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I got to read the next book to find out. I want to know.
Yeah, that's the only way.
And to know that she the grandma of the dude, so like maybe she had the coin first and she gave it to her grandsons, but because like so in the one where his parents are there somehow somebody put the coin in that
In
machine
the machine, yeah, in the
and
cloth.
that's how it got to
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
But the coin and the place was named after Arcade. It was named Arcade before then.
Mhm.
So I want to know what happened during that time to make it to where it became Arcade's token. I'm curious. And his mom
Why?
said one day she would tell him why she named him that.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Cause it. Well, What's it called now?
Forest
Yes, it's something
Forest Fun. I
fun
don't know. It didn't
center.
sound fun at all.
No,
It didn't.
it
It's
it's
like
kind
Arcade
of boring.
Adventure sounds real fun.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man, so I'm excited for book three, which is I got my handy dandy. It's not my notebook, but it's a piece of paper. Arcade
Hey.
and the fiery metal tester that we will be discussing on the 7th of September at 6:30 on Shay's channel,
On
which
my
is
channel.
Shay with the Hobby.
Yay. And
Uh,
somewhere between now and then we'll do sprints somewhere.
yes,
You will let you
probably a little bit closer because they're such short books that
right.
it's easy to just finish it in
Right.
a
Like
short
I actually
sitting
like to like doing one on Sunday and then finish it by
and
Wednesday.
then
That
on
actually
the
be pretty
discussion. So maybe we'll plan for the Sunday before.
yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. Um, probably on Twitch because of how we are as people.
Right. Yeah, that's probably gonna be quick because this is fun, but it would have been a lot more fun if we could. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that part. So it looks like Babe has finished dinner and made his own lunch.
Okay.
And it's time to
All
wrap it
right.
up because we have gushed enough.
Hey, we actually did longer this time than last time,
We
so
did. We stretched it out
we
somehow.
did
We did
it. Come
good.
on, with
Do you
your
have
5 questions.
you know?
Eh, let's throw
Do
it on.
you got any announcements?
Um, nah, let me not announce nothing because then y'all be expecting something and I have to
Listen,
actually do it.
I'm not
I'll be
finna do
live
that
with Britt on Friday and then on my channel on
on
Saturday and
Friday.
Sunday like normal.
Okay.
So yeah,
2 days from now. Okay. And then
it
for
feel like
me,
the
the next time I need to wrap up quarter two. I do. I have continued to waver between recording it and editing it or making it alive. I can't decide. You talking to me? And so I don't know, but I still need to do that. That'll be the next video probably that you see from me. That's not a live discussion of Suki and her golden cooch. The next time that happens is like the 23rd. Let me get a calendar. I'm sorry, y'all. Yeah, no, yeah, the 23rd, which is next Tuesday at 7:30 on my channel again. So if you like, the sprints will be on Tuesday, is what I'm talking about, and then the discussion will be on the 26th, also here. So come back next week if you need a little razzle dazzle or some sprints and you need to catch up on something. Me and Bree will be here, and that's about it. Thank y'all for coming. I appreciate you. Hopefully you're reading with us. If not, you can still have time to catch up. Like even if you just start today with the first book, by the time the 9th of September, I feel like if you're consuming it through audiobook, even if you do an hour a day until then, you could get it done.
Yeah,
I'm just
because
saying.
they're not long. They're on
Yeah.
script. They're on Hoopla.
Mhm. You could do it if you want. I haven't seen them in print, but I haven't checked them in those. You call them Mardell, right?
Mardel's. I don't know if
Mhm.
they have a Mardel's where you are. I feel like they might have one in
I
like.
don't know. I haven't checked it all, or even their website. So,
Oh,
but
okay,
I'm just. I
gotcha.
haven't seen a physical copy of it. So, only way I know how to consume it right now is through the audiobooks, which are excellent. The narrator is great. Um, anyway, thank y'all for joining us. Y'all have
Bye.
a good night. Bye. Wait, where's my mouse? There you go.